So today we are going to be working on graphing equations that are in slope-intercept form. Remember, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. So you're going to be able to graph them, and you're going to write equations that are in that form. So let's go ahead and get started. First example here is write an equation for the following situation and then graph your equation. So it says Pizza Hut charges $8 for a pizza plus $2 for each topping. So it could be something like this. Let's say you just want to get a pizza with no toppings. You just be charged $8. If you got one topping on it, we would add $2 for that topping. That'd be $10. If we got two toppings, it would be $12. If it was three toppings, it'd be $14. And so the starting amount, that's our y-intercept, that's at $8. And every time it changes by adding $2 each time. And so the change is our slope. And so if we're using this equation, y equals mx plus b, the m is the slope. It's going to look like this. The amount of money that they charge is going to be $2 for each topping plus $8 to start off with. And the way this would look like if we graphed it, let's say this is 2, 4, 6, 8 right here. We'd start out at 8. And let's say this is one topping, two toppings, three toppings, four toppings. We would continue. This would be 10. This would be 12. This would be 14. And it would look something like this. One topping would be $10. Two toppings would be $12. Three toppings would be $14, and we're going to get a line that goes up like that, and the slope is 2, up 2 over 1, and the y-intercept is here at 8. And so that's what that would look like. Let's take a look at a different example. Made to Go charges $30 to show up at your house, and then $20 per hour. So as soon as they show up, they're going to charge you $30. After 1 hour, they're going to charge you $50 because $30 plus the $20 per hour. After 2 hours, well, now it's up to $70 because it's $30 to show up plus 20 plus 20. And we could keep going, but the equation is going to look like this. $20 for each hour, that's your slope, plus they start at $30. So if we were to graph this, let's say this is 10, 20, here's 30 right here, 40 right here. If we go up by 10s, 50, 60, 70, 80, let's say this is 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and so on. At the beginning, right when they show up, 0 hours, it's $30. After 1 hour, though, after 1 hour, you're up to $50. After 2 hours, you're up to $70. After 3 hours, you'd be at $90, and that's going to be a straight line that looks like that. Notice the slope here is positive. We're going uphill, just like we did with this last one. The slope was positive, and we're going uphill. So let's take a look at a third situation. Your tire pressure in your tire is 60 psi once the tire is pumped up. But then the tire loses 3 pounds per square inch. That's what PSI stands for, pounds per square inch, each day. So right when you pump it up, your tire pressure is 60. That's what you want it to be. But after 1 day, now it's only 57 because it loses 3 pounds. After 2 days, now it's 54. After 3 days, now it's 51. So this is going to look like this. We're losing 3 pounds every day. So that means that the slope is going to be -3 times x. And you start out at 60 pounds. So this is going to look something like this. Let's say we have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 is right here. We have after 1 day is here, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, and so on. So you start off at day 0 with 60 pounds. That's your y-intercept. But after 1 day, you're down to 57, which is about right here. After 2 days, you're down to 54, which is, let's say, about right there. After, I don't know why it does that. After 3 days, you're down to 51. After 4 days, you would lose another 3 pounds. You'd be at 48. And what's going to happen is you're going to have a straight line that looks like that. Notice here the slope is negative and you're going downhill. It's a negative slope and you started at 60. So we have the y-intercept, which is this number. That always tells you where it starts. we have the slope. In this case, it's -3, and that tells you how it changes. So let's graph the following equations. If I start this one at -3, because the y-intercept is -3, I'd be right here. And the slope is +3. So if I use rise over run, I could go up 3 and over 1. I would go up 3 and over 1 again, up 3 and over 1 again. I could also go down 3 and left 1, because that also is 3. -3 over -1 also simplifies to +3. And so I could go down 3 and left 1, which would be here. Down 3 and left 1, which would be here. If I graphed all these points, it would be a straight line that looks something like that. That's the first one. Let's take a look at the second one. This one will start at +5, which is here. But then the slope is -2. So I would go rise, that's like -2 over 1. So I would go down 2 and over 1, down 2 and over 1, down 2 and over 1, and I would continue that. Or -2 over 1, I could think of it as +2 over -1, which means from the original point I would go up 2 and left 1, up 2 and left 1. And I would get a straight line that looks something like that. Let's try another one. If I start this one at -1, so that's going to be right here, and the slope is 2/3. So that would mean the rise is 2, and the run is 1, 2, 3, which is here. Oh, no, here. And then if I do that again, up 2 and over 3, I'd be here. Up 2 and over 3, I'd be here. Or I could think about that as 2/3 is the same thing as -2 over -3. The negatives would cancel out, but that would mean I would go down 2 and left 3. Down 2 and left 3. And I would get a straight line that does something like this. So that's C. And then finally D. If I start at +3, which is right here, that's what the y-intercept is. But now the slope is -1/4. So I can think of it as -1 over 4 or 1 over -4. Let's do the first one. -1, that means down 1 and over 1, 2, 3, 4 would be here. Down 1 and over 4 would be here. If I keep going, down 1 and over 4 would be about right here. Or if I thought of it this way, I could go up 1 and left 1, 2, 3, 4. Up 1 and left 4. And all of those points are going to be in this straight line. So that's kind of what we are working on today. Here are some special cases though. Let's say we have just y equals 3. Well, in that one, you can think of it two ways. You can think of it that it's 0 times x plus 3, which means the slope is 0. The y-intercept would be 3. As a matter of fact, y is always going to be 3. It's just going to be a straight line at y equals 3. No matter what x is, x could be 2, y is 3. X could be 6, y is 3. X could be 9, y is 3. X could be -5, y is 3. So if you have y equals 3, it's just going to be a horizontal line at where y equals 3. On the other hand, if you have something like this where x is -2, well, here's where x is -2, but x is -2 is also going to be here. It's just a different y value. So x could be -2 and y could be 5, or x could be -2 and y could be 8, or x could be -2 and y could be -5. That's going to be a vertical line right through where x is -2. So if it's x equals a number, it's a vertical line. If it's y equals a number, it's a horizontal line. What if it's y equals x? Well, you could think about this as y equals 1 times x plus 0. We really don't need the 1 times x because that's x. We really don't need the plus 0 because that doesn't change anything. This equation is the same as that equation. And this equation would start at 0, and the slope is 1. So I would go up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. And all of these points would be on the graph. Or I could go down 1, left 1, down 1, left 1, and all of these points would be on the graph. And I'm going to have a straight line that goes through all of those points that looks something like that. All right, there you go. That is this assignment. Hopefully you understood that. If not, you can rewatch it again, and we will go over questions that you have tomorrow.